RTD Live Talk, Detroit's number one YouTube talk show. Excited to be back for another live stream this Monday. Looking forward to finding out what's new in your world, as well as whatever subject matters you're keeping an eye on. Let's touch on it tonight. So bring a topic and let your voice be heard. And my name is Mike, the host of Detroit's number one YouTube talk show. Looking forward to hanging out with you guys. And as always, before I dive into further, I have about 6 or 7, give or take, topics that I want to kind of scan over, get your thoughts on it, share my 2 cents on it. And as I do, before I do that, rather, for those that are tuning in, if you are new to the community, let me know where you're watching from. I would love to give you a shout out in the chat room. And then also, when the phone lines are open, feel free to give me a call, 313-462-0027. We'll love to hear your voice directly. And so let's dive right in. Let me check in and see who's tuning in thus far. Jim Diggs, we got James, we got Master Don. How you doing, my friends? What's going on in your world? Feel free to let me know. A lot of interesting things developing right now. A lot of things that makes me wonder. Larissa, appreciate you for tuning in. A lot of things make me wonder as to how they meaning the orchestrator of this entire experience we're having right now, how they're throwing so much stuff out there at once. And I think this George Floyd's trial that's currently underway right now, I guess they're going to probably announce a verdict possibly sometime soon. And wouldn't it be very timely as to the verdict being something that incites more unrest and more chaos and more further divide of this country in regards to a lot of people feeling that they were cheated out of justice for the wrongful killing of a human being by a law enforcement officer. And so it's one of those things where I'm not surprised. I'm actually anticipating some type of screwed up verdict that would just play right into the hands of those that want to see more chaos and want to see more looting and things like that. So we can definitely touch on that. I want to get your thoughts on that. But anyway, I got a couple articles and I'll dive in. We got JBW, got Luke in the building. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. Hit that thumbs up button if you don't mind. Hopefully it'll alert a few more people, because as I've always mentioned, the algorithms is not too favorable these days, but I'm going to keep plugging along as best as I can. We got Monkey King in the building. And before I dive into any of the subject matter for today, a lot of it is more so it's the deliberate push and the talk of the crypto space and how China now is on board with Bitcoin and all the other stuff going on. So a couple things worth talking about. And so let me do a little house cleaning. Share my screen here real quick. Let me remove a couple things off my screen, and then I'll dive right in and open up the phone lines, and we can see what's going on. So anyway, for those that are new to the channel, rethinkingthedollar.com is the home base where I share articles and videos and all the stuff done here goes up on Rethinking the Dollar, as well as my recommended expert videos. So feel free to check in throughout the day there. And then also today, not today, but this week, we're going to have our off the air hangout. We're going to do it via Zoom. And so before I did it I did it off air, but through YouTube. But this time, because the talks are becoming a lot more heated and a lot more in depth, I want to definitely do it Zoom. So it's going to be a one and done. Won't be no replays, nothing like that for the community. And so for those that are interested in joining us face to face, become a Patreon member and you'll get an invite and you can hang out with us. And then also for those that are new or have not been participating, I want to encourage you guys to go to the Discord page, share stories, share articles, whatever comes across your radar throughout the day. And then I'll more than likely grab it from the Discord. We can touch on it tonight. And then also all the other social media platforms where you can find Rethinking a Dollar. Feel free to connect with us there so that you can stay in tune with what's going on. And then I want to make sure I also remind everybody, for those that are still interested right now, while the prices are still favorable, the Get Your Weight Up coin is still available. And so it's a limited edition set. And definitely it's doing quite well as far as it being able to be something people can hold that's rare and unique in of itself. And so let's keep it moving right along. Okay. And so we got Patriot Star from Jacksonville, Florida. Tim, how you doing, my friend? We got Jay in the building. All right. So feel free to chime in. As always, when the phone lines open up, I want to hear from some of you guys. If you haven't called in before, I encourage you to do so. Feel free to just call in and share what's going on in your world or your thoughts on any of the subject matter that I'm about to scan across, because it's always good to hear different opinions or whatnot. If it's a different opinion or if it's something you agree upon, it's even better. So Patriot Star says, thank you, Mike, for the great work and great content. Thank you for all you do for the community. Yeah, appreciate you, my friend. I appreciate you for taking time to join us and share those thoughts. Okay, so let me stop rambling, get right to the nuts and bolts of things, and then we'll keep it moving. Okay, so today, for whatever reason, a lot of talk about the blockchain space and crypto caught my attention. So I definitely got to touch on it because I put on Twitter, I actually posted this here. And so this is from today, if I'm not mistaken. It says, so a lot of articles are CNBC or CBS, whatever, mainstream sources. But yet, once again, by the time it gets there, it's already old news. And I like to read a lot more deeper into it to kind of, get down to the nuts and bolts of what's going on there, because it's all old news, relatively speaking. But anyway, it says UK to explore issuing its own digital currency amid the Bitcoin boom. And so I shared this on Twitter with a little sentence or two, and it says something like, so basically this is the origin. So this initially was the origin of the whole blockchain boom that we're currently experiencing right now. It was to continue to keep people distracted about Dogecoin, Bitcoin, and all those other things, while the UK is exploring its own digital currency. And I got a little Twitter feed from someone that I grabbed off the internet with some information there. And of course, it appears to be something that XRP is a part of. And so, did we talk about this, a couple years ago as to how the bankers were behind the scenes orchestrating this entire transition while trying to dangle a carrot in front of the public's face with the opportunity of getting wealthy in this Bitcoin boom, while all along they use it as a way to set up their own infrastructure. Now, the next thing I would want to throw out there is that once the UK, the US, China, all these countries come out with their official digital currency or rebranded version of their currency, do you actually think they're going to continue to allow the Bitcoin boom and all those other things to continue to disrupt their power in controlling the currency? Yeah, I'll leave it up to you guys to figure it out. But it's just interesting here, man. Once again, you see stuff about China, not China, but just the UK talking about UK Treasury and the Bank of England have launched a joint task force to explore the potential central bank digital currency. And it's once again like, if anybody in their right mind should already know that it's already created, it's already done, it's already ready to be delivered. They just need to introduce it to the public and let things continue to deteriorate in the real economy and bring in more pain so they can then roll out this central bank digital version of what they want to do. Jane says, snowstorm coming here in Michigan reminds me of what happened in Texas. Maybe freeze of all the people blossoms, prevent full fruit developing. Yeah, and that's another thing, Jay. I appreciate you sharing that. My wife just brought that to my attention tonight, that we're expecting some snow tonight. So it did feel good for the last couple of days, though. Okay, so let's keep it moving real quick. I don't want to ramble too much. And then here's another one here. Just it's the signs of the times, man. Like the biggest, greatest bubble of human history happens to be in the financial markets that have been deliberately pumped up by the easing of the fifth central banks and the continuation of debt being expanded. But it says 70% rise in stocks since March low is the third largest jump in 100 years. What happened next? You guys let me know. just look at what history has always determined as, I guess, not a fair market value, but a true correction as to what the market should look like. And we got, July 33, of course, a depression, 36, more of the same. We got 83, more of a dip. We got March 10, more of a dip. So one of the things here is like this current boom now is nowhere near as high as I think they want this to go. Because if 33 was, the S&P 500 year over year was 75 points, we're only on about, say, 75% year over year based upon last year's correction to this point here. So we got another couple, 2.9 trillion here, there to find its way to the market. So long story short, a lot of people are betting that things go a lot farther, and it probably will. But yet when it comes down, it will come down like never before. And it's going to come down at a time that they're resetting the monetary system. So everything that's denominated in your local currency will be rebranded, and it's going to be a new issuance and priced in the central bank digital format of it. So just something worth thinking about as well. All right, keep it moving. Here's something as well. China may test its digital currency with foreign visitors at the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. Doesn't surprise me whatsoever. It's just inevitable because they're rolling out bit by bit. And then here's another one. After a Bitcoin crackdown, China now calls it an investment alternative and a significant shift in tone. So, more than half of the mining capacity is taking place in China. And apparently, I think over the last couple of days when there was a Bitcoin dip, one of the provinces had some issues and they went offline in China. And they suspect that was a part of the dip, as well as some treasury, type of FUD and all that other stuff out there. But now China backs it as an alternative investment. And so definitely this will be very bullish for it. So expect that push towards 100,000 to be without a problem. But then we got here, it says Li Bo, deputy governor of the People's Bank of China, called Bitcoin an investment alternative. So it's going to go to the moon. And then look at something else that just happened. Is relatively breaking news, yet to really be fully broken. But this is from Charles Gasparino, who's a Fox Business News individual. And he says, break-in says, at Joe Biden, admin is in the early stages of developing a regulatory approach to the booming crypto biz, sources at Fox Business says. So right after China comes out and gives Bitcoin a thumbs up, saying that it's a great investment vehicle, and then we had economists and investors here saying that Bitcoin is a setup deliberately by China to bypass the dollar and to disrupt the dollar hegemony. And so here we got Joe Biden now coming out with some very favorable stuff for the crypto space as well. So it's good to say that the crypto space is definitely in full blossom, because it excites us. It keeps your attention on that sector there while they build up their infrastructure for the CBDCs. Pay no mind to gold and silver, because that's no longer important according to what they would have us believe. But we all know what's going on here. And then here's another one here. I thought this was interesting. And so this was a little bit of some information from what's this called? Jerome Powell, 60 Minutes from last week. But it talks about the amount of homelessness not too far from the Federal Reserve. It says 2 blocks from the Federal Reserve, a growing encampment of homeless grips the economy's most powerful person. So I haven't been to DC in quite some time, but to see, tents and, people just outside, it just shows how they clearly have failed the American people, but yet they're doing everything in the best interest for maximum stability and employment. But here's a lady with a gecko as a pet on her shoulder. So that's interesting. All right, coming on the home stretch here. And so here's more of the insight I mentioned earlier. It says Bank of England and Ripple partner now, offering settlement using digital ledger technology for omnibus accounts. And so the Bank of England and looks like Ripple perhaps might be working hand in hand, which we already kind of figured that one, but no surprise here. And then here's something about payment process. It says churches, chicken, and Venezuela can now pay staff with Dash cryptocurrency. So interesting. Keeping it moving. And then if it's not one thing, it's another. Looks like the Biden administration might be considering disrupting the tobacco industry, which was the very foundation and backbone of this country hundreds of years ago. But yet it looks like they're concerned with the side effects of nicotine and menthol cigarettes. So, but yet, they're going to they're going to federally legalize weed, I'm assuming, while they take out tobacco. So, yeah, who stands to benefit from this? And then here's another one here, something worthwhile, really hit me hard. It says U.S. warns against travel to 80% of all the countries due to this current experience we're all having globally. And so, once again, they don't want you to travel. Why? More fear. Keep you at home. Keep you thinking the rest of the world is going through major issues, when in actuality, I don't think it's that bad. And then the last subject matter, which I think will be the catalyst for probably a very disturbing week, will be the verdict from this whole trial dealing with the George Floyd murder from last year. And it's one of the things where why wait till spring to come out with some type of verdict that will be very unpopular with the masses, leading to more chaos and unrest. But here's some of the possible verdicts that could be given: second-degree manslaughter, third-degree murder, second-degree murder. And so I have my opinions on it, but yet I think those that are trying to orchestrate this destruction of our country would prefer if the police officer was probably found not guilty and walks out of there with a smile on his face, and then we'll see a good portion of the United States of America in flames as a result of that. And so it would not just be a great ending for this world, transition they try to take us into. But anyway, that's enough of me ranting, man. A couple articles that came across my radar. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on any of these subject matters, feel free to give me a call. The phone lines are officially open. 313-462-0027. Give me a call. Let's talk. And we can keep it moving. All right. So let me see. I see a lot of thoughts in the chat here, or just highlight at Rethinking a Dollar. And I'll definitely put it on the screen or highlight it or whatever. And so I'll see here, it says Johnny Deep says, we are in a depression, but if shorted the fraud markets, you got decimated. House prices going up every day in a depression. Figure that one out. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Nothing makes sense anymore in the financial realm when you have all this issues in the debt market, just all-time high and everything not favorable, but yet stocks are at all-time high. Housing prices are up. All the bubbles that have been blown over the last 11 years are still high. So, a correction is, it has to come, man. It has to come. David, hi, Mike. David from Detroit. What's up, David? How you doing, my man? Appreciate you for tuning in. What else we got here? I see bad news from everyone. Wednesday, I asked a holler. Let me see here. All right, let's get this call answered. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Shrek Unit. I'm calling from Charlotte, North Carolina.
How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind?
Man, I'm doing good. Hey, great show, by the way, man. I like the headline articles.
Appreciate
the
you.
XRP stuff.
Okay.
Chicken or the egg?
Okay.
XRP came first, or did the bankers create XRP? XRP was created for the bankers by cryptocurrency wonks.
Oh.
So, yeah, it is a banking cryptocurrency.
Hey, no doubt. And if you even look at the team of individuals behind XRP, they also have Stellar. And, of course, there's some sprinkling into Ethereum itself. Vitalik is, I guess, I think Daryl, one of the community members, goes deep into it. But he's talking about how Vitalik Buterin, the Ethereum creator, was also a part of that group. So I would imagine, all those boys are part of the whole package. So it was designed for them, in my opinion. I've been saying this for years, but it is what it is. People still love it.
That's right. I love my crypto, but I'm using my crypto to buy me more silver, so It's a win-win for me.
Hey, you do what you do, man. Get your weight up. Appreciate you calling.
Thanks, brother.
Be good. Yeah, man. Good stuff. And so, one of the things, Mr. Call, too, give me a call back. Love to hear from you. But one of the things that is it becomes quite obvious how everything is lining up more and more as the ultimate diversion tactic off of this transition. Like, we're witnessing they even told us a great reset. They named it. We always talked about monetary reset. I call it a monetary restructuring, because along with this restructuring of currencies, they're rebranding them to make them solely digital, while they're shifting power to the hands of the People Bank of China. So it's like, yeah. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello? Hi there.
From Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Kalamazoo, Michigan. Well, how you doing with my fellow Michigander? What's going on with you?
Doing all right. Hey, listen, I just wanted to mention something on the air. I've been thinking about this for a long time. The weaponization of the IRS and the way that they, the whole intended purpose of it, which is income redistribution, and at the same time printing unlimited cash. So why do they need taxes anyway? It's just to punish the ones that are willing to work harder than the ones that are not. Period. End of story.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. And so my question to you is, given that they are now restructuring and changing things in the monetary realm, do you see them continue to need to tax the people in the days ahead when they control everything and own everything, and and are giving out stimulus or universal basic income?
Well, I think the taxation serves two purposes. Number one is it's really a marginal way of getting capital. I mean, if you're spending twice as much as you're bringing in, you kind of question the value.
Yeah.
More importantly, I think it's the optics that taxation of the wealthy does for the zero liability voter. I think that's more powerful. I think that's what it's intended to do.
Yeah.
That plus, they got unlimited funds anyway, so they're subsidizing everything anyway. So at the end of the day, it's a weapon. It's what they're using it for, period, in the story.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate you, and I thank you for your insights, my man. Thanks for calling in.
All right.
Be good. Yeah. Good point. Taxation is basically a weapon to rob those that actually work And yeah, so I mean, and the thing is, I remember, reading several historical books back in the day talking about just, property, like with gold and silver prior to the demonetization of silver and the introduction of the income tax itself, like the idea of being able to work and keep and maintain your own property, and the fact that they taxed currency, which was our property when it belonged to the people. That was behind the whole Free Coinage Act, where the people were able to take their coins and get them minted on, basically almost, at a minimum charge by the government, when it was actually our property in our possession. But yet, as we got into those banknotes and all that other stuff, it became instruments issued by a central controller. Therefore, they want they want a cut of that, i.e., comes the income tax model, man. So anyway, but yet it is what it is, man. That's why I think right now there's a window of time, I believe, before this entire pyramid comes collapsing down to the very fine point, which will be silver. And even recently, I'm hearing stuff, some buzzwords, some FUD out there about copper becoming more of an important metal than silver. Right? Okay, sure. But anyway, everything they built on top of this, this pyramid here, all papered promises to pay, all that other stuff. That's what this is all about, trying to prop this stuff up as long as they can. And while they're doing that, they need to rebrand and reshift some things. And that's why the digitization of the monetary system is inevitable, because they pretty much ran the debt course. There's not much more they can do. Anyways, keep it moving. Give me a call, 313-462-0027. Want to hear from you guys. Okay, my views. It says Maxine Waters inciting violence in the streets. Had this been Trump, the beast, all hell would have broke loose. No doubt. But yet, once again, when you're dealing with a very liberal media and just the extreme un-American approach of our politicians to literally, they're all working hand in hand with the orchestrator of this entire event, which happen to be people who are not even in this country. Like a lot of this stuff, comes from a lot of European background and Middle East, sources, of course, out east in Asia. But yet you see how the politicians that are deliberately destroying our country, the majority of them are lifelong politicians, 10, 20, 30 years, and they're already up in age, and they will not live long enough, more than likely, to see the complete devastation that they've caused during their entire term in office. And they've just completely sold out the American people. It is unbelievable. But yet still people think there's a right and left paradigm. They're all part of the same party. Whew, gets me heated up there. Anyway, hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, it's low blood pressure from the street to Corpus Christi. How's it going?
LBP, doing good, man. How you doing?
Not good, man. I'm pulled over. I was working, but messing off or whatever. They call it work, though.
I hear you, man. What's going on with you?
Hey, Mike, they're going to let it loose soon. Look, everybody's like, inflation. Everybody's talking, even in Espanol, la inflación. I see it on Univision and everything.
Uh-huh.
They're going to let it loose soon.
Yeah, now the question is, how will they actually let it loose? What will be, because other than like them talking about opening the economy up and getting people to spend some of those savings, how are they going to let it loose, in your opinion?
They're going to say, for China. What is it called? The cyber attack. That's what they're going to say. Oh, Russia wanted to.
Uh-huh.
That's how they're going to let it go.
Well, yeah. So give us some recommendations on how to protect ourselves before they let it go.
Okay, look, I got a little bit of money in the bank, but I have to have it because I'm trying to buy a house, and they can't look under my mattress. But anyways, take some cash out and buy some silver, because they're gonna they're gonna blame China or they're gonna blame Russia. They're gonna say cyber attack, and that's why everything's gonna go up in price. Mm-hmm. That's the next, and the bank. I think the banking system is gonna freeze. I think there's gonna be chaos. There's gonna be no credit, and I think that's gonna be the next virus scare, or whatever. Because this virus scare ain't working anymore.
Yeah, its effect is definitely dwindling, but yet we will see, man. But hey, LBP, let me get some more calls, man. I appreciate you for calling in.
All right, Mike. Thanks for taking my call. Have a good one.
Be good. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Ed from Columbus. How you doing, Mike?
Ed from Columbus. Doing good, my man. How you doing? What's on your mind?
Hey, you made the statement, where they want to take the country down and that kind of thing, and just the way people act. There can't be this this conspiracy where they get in a room and say, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this. But I think I figured this thing out, man. That Satan himself uses money and power and greed to control these people for their purposes. Because, you know, if there was just a big conspiracy, we're going to take this down or take that down.
Yeah.
You know, there would be leaks and things.
Yeah. Yeah. But yet I think there are leaks. There are people who are considered whistleblowers or whatever, but those people, they tend not to be around for too long. Like, if you know, of course, if you live in the alternative media realm, stuff crosses my radar all the time because I go looking for stuff to just be able to decipher between a truth and a lie. And a lot of people out there, you know, they don't make it. I.e., here's another good example. Like, just in the chat, Tony B shared with us some information out of Tanzania. And so the Tanzanian president, who came out, I think not long ago, a couple weeks ago, and said the country is COVID free, he's now dead. And so it's like, is that coincident? I mean, you know, like, you know, take it for what it's worth, but just stuff like that just don't happen by coincidence. So all that stuff factored in lets me know that a lot of people are too afraid to not go with the flow because you yourself may not be reelected. You may not get that back scratch. You may not get that funds. Your future kids may not be able to enter politics if you don't do what you're told to do now, because it's all family based. It's like generational stuff. So it runs deeper than we'll probably ever know in this life, but definitely Satan is behind it. And I think it's in DC and Wall Street. Those two work hand in hand is the reason why our country is the way it is, in my opinion.
You know, I agree with everything you said. But, you know, we got all these people working for the, you know, what's not good for different reasons, whether they want to keep their job at CNN or they want to do this, they want to be reelected.
Yeah.
You know, that all still kind of breaks down to greed and power, you know, that Satan just uses those things that our flesh desires so much to manipulate and orchestrate this whole thing. He's like a conductor up there, you know, just working this thing, but God the Father is still in control.
Hey, I agree. Appreciate you calling, man. Thanks for calling in.
All right, Mike. Take care.
Be good.
Bye.
Yeah, good point, man. Good points there. And that's the thing, like, you know, at the core essence of everything we're experiencing, it's the true, it's a spiritual warfare under the surface. Like, we know there's an enemy. We know that there's good, there's bad, all that good stuff like that. But yet I remember just, you know, in the last days, you know, the man's heart will go cold to where people will lack a moral compass. Because I'm thinking, like, for example, here in Michigan, we got Governor Whitmer. And so there's always, you know, something that she's doing that majority of the people in the state don't really agree with. But yet, according to what she's doing, she trusts science, she trusts the expert, all that other stuff. But it just doesn't make sense to the majority of the people here. So she's not really representing the majority in a sense. But yet what she's doing is she's doing, I believe, what she's told to do. And at the end of the day, she has children. She has a family. And so it's like you're destroying your own family's legacy by doing these type of things, that locking down, shutting down, you know, like, so she's playing her part, in my opinion. But yeah, how does it benefit your children? Because their future is at stake. Like with this whole infrastructure plan now, this new Green Deal, ultimately, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, they're saying about $50 trillion. Like, where's the $50 trillion going to come from? What type of world will we live in to where everything will be controlled by literally private institutions? And majority of those politicians, you know, they're going to be long gone. And so their grandkids and great grandkids are going to be the ones, you know, I assume that they're doing this for the fact that they'll still have a place at the table for their grandkids down the line to be able to be a governor or something like that. But it's like, what about everybody else? Like, yeah, it's very sickening. But yet, you know, Satan is alive, man. That's, you know, still kill and destroy. Hello, caller. Which name are you calling from?
Hey, what's going on? This is Troy from Dallas.
Troy from Dallas. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, man, just listening to the show. Great comments from everybody. I just wanted to call in and touch bases regarding the current topic and current events.
Yeah, go ahead and give it to us.
Well, I mean, a friend of mine sent me an ad today. I'm not sure if your crowd is familiar with the Rick and Morty cartoon, but he pretty much sent me a video showing it's some sort of step machine where as people walk on this sort of hybrid type of sidewalk, it generates electricity or whatever. So, you know, it's just all a part of that smart grid city, you know, where, you know, everything like human behavior kind of kept in sort of like a lab rat, social media sandbox type of environment.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything you do is sort of commodified now, since we're moving away from a petrol, oil, based economy to social media. It's all like people and activity based.
Yeah.
So they're looking for more and more ways. So, it started off with the Fitbit, and it's like, okay, we got all this data and biometrics. What's the next, iteration of that? And it's like, okay, you got steps that generate power. They got patents on converting body heat into, energy. So it's just like, whenever you point the economy in that direction, or, to create markets that way,
yeah.
I mean, we know it never stops.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very, very weird when you point growth and innovation, in a commodity that's based off of human activity.
Yeah.
It's going to make for a very, very just kind of, just weird 3 seashells type of future.
Yeah. Good point, man. But I know, just knowing the future that the orchestrator of this entire experience trying to create, smart cities is a part of the plan. And with those smart cities, it's going to be literally less freedom, less everything, because not only will you have a smart watch, smartphone, smart TV, smart watch, smart car, smart house, smart, what's the point of having a human brain? Like, if everything is done for you, then you really won't be able to say much or control much. Then therefore you're going to also have to ask for permission to actually do real world things, whatever those things might be. So, and you talk about like the Fitbits. I'm thinking like they sold the idea of a smartwatch where you can track your entire life and see and remind yourself. But the next generation, the younger generation especially, they're going to be okay with the microchip, because they're going to sell it the same way. Put this chip in your finger, put this chip in your, it'll tell you this and that, whatever. Just touch it on you can get a pop from a vending machine, just touch a finger on so.
Yeah. There was actually a guy out here in Dallas somewhere that actually volunteered and put some sort of chip on it. He put like his worker's badge and all his credit card information on his chip. So he was like, oh yeah, it's sufficient, blah, blah, this and that. It's just like, yeah, but at what cost?
Yeah.
It's sufficient for you, but that's not for everybody.
Right. And then, hey man, good points, man. I appreciate you calling in.
All right, thank you.
Be good. Good stuff, man. And then, as always, it always starts off with, we're not going to be collecting your data. You can trust us until there's a data breach and everything ends up on the internet and they know where you live, you stay, and everything else. So, you know how that stuff goes, people. Nothing new. But anyway, let's check in real quick. Let's look at the metals markets, man. I don't want to neglect the true essence of a monetary reset, which happens to be in the weight category. And so, of course, everything else around us doing well. Crypto's down a little bit, but okay. But I've demonstrated quite well where they want those to go. So it's going to go up, but they want your attention off of historical monetary wealth preservation tools in the form of gold and silver, and more importantly, silver, because it has always been the people's money. And that's I consider it my job to always try to reach new people and encourage them to research your history. Think about the fact, especially for me personally, like, my great granddad probably was hoping to earn a dime a day. And that dime today would be the equivalent of $20 type of thing an hour, give or take, for whatever line of work he was in. I don't know what he ever did, but just the idea of where we come from and how centrally controlled currencies have robbed humanity. And of course, they're trying to entice you with the idea of getting gains off of this thing right here. It's going to be there, but use it to your advantage. Don't let it use you the way that they've set this thing up. But anyway, I'm rambling. Give me a call. I did miss a couple calls. All right, let's keep it moving, man. Appreciate the feedback. I see some stuff here about some condos. Says $500 a month. Association dues. So Blackjack, give me what's going on in the real estate realm in your neck of the woods. Who we got? Amazon warehouses look like high-tech plantation field. Thunder Sound, no doubt. And that's the thing with Amazon warehouses. They popping up everywhere. They popping up similar to, like, here in Detroit, we got Coney Islands on every corner that's owned by those of the Chaldean race. And then right across the street, we got gas stations owned by those from the Middle East region. And then it's a gun. So, Amazon's going to be popping up just like that. That's all Bezos money. That long, strong Bezos money. Selling us goods made in China. At what point will people not really need much stuff? Like, how much stuff can you have, especially if it's non-productive stuff, like just be buying gadgets and gadgets for no reason. Just stuff that you don't even use. You just buy it because it's cheap. Hello, caller. Which name are you calling from?
Mike, what's going on, man? It's Crypto Karan from Chicago.
Crypto Karan, what's going on with you, man?
Not much, man. All right, so Mike, I just had to call you, man, because dude, you're the dude who really, you really introduced me and really gave me my background on the gold side again. The metals, the precious metal. So
appreciate you.
Tomorrow, man, it's a big bout coming up, man. We got the fight of the century coming up. All right, this dude's sailing. He's getting ready to get in the ring. Now, what's that, Mike?
No, go ahead. So okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Give us more.
So we know the debate tomorrow with Daniel Cambroni tomorrow, Michael Saylor and my man. I don't even know his name.
I think it's Frank. Is it Frank Gucci something or another?
Frank.
Okay.
Frank. All right, my man Frank. Sorry.
Yeah.
So man, what you think, Mike? I mean, let me ask you a question, because here's the thing. They're saying that Frank is open to Michael Saylor flipping him over on gold and saying, all right, man, you got me. I understand Bitcoin now. With us being, gold bugs to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. If he wins that debate, man, how would that change how you feel about the gold game? Being that this dude Frank is a major gold guy, a billionaire gold guy.
Okay, great point. So I just put up on the screen here because it slipped my mind, but I see it here. So Jim Rickers retweeted it. And so here's my personal opinion at this current moment. Right now, me looking at things from a long-term perspective, looking at the true essence of what's going on here, like, everything we're witnessing now is a part of a monetary reset, great reset, restructuring, or whatever. And so the Federal Reserve note, aka the dollar, it has already died. Now we're trying to figure out what's going to be next to transition us to what the central bankers want to do. And Bitcoin is a part of that pathway. So there's no convincing me other words. Now, what role will it play in the short term? Oh, it's going to go to the moon. But then again, don't turn your back on the true essence of what money is, according to what J.P. Morgan was quoted as saying 100 years ago, that gold is money and everything else is debt or credit. And so I think they both can exist together in the short term. Use one to your advantage, but bank on what's historically proven. So I don't care what they talk about tomorrow, just because I know that Bitcoin is 11 years old and it was intended for this transition, because we wouldn't even be having this discussion. They wouldn't even be able to execute a great reset if it wasn't something to entice people into the digital world, such as Bitcoin, because they would not even be able to execute this reset if you're talking about gold and silver. If gold and silver is headline primetime news, everybody's mother was running out to get it, there wouldn't be no reset because they couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't create a central bank digital currency unless they had a distraction called Bitcoin to take our eyes off of historical money. So I don't care what comes from that. It's just, do both if you can. But, remember, one has been here for a long time and one is mentioned in the Bible several times, meaning that there's some value to somebody somewhere. So that's just me, man.
You know what, Mike? You know what? I agree. You guys made some good points, man. Mike, I tell you what, man. I don't know. I went down the rabbit hole, and I've been, I've been hearing about it, but I went down it, Mike. Mm-hmm. I mean, I read the Bitcoin Standard. Mm-hmm. I read, a lot of. I've just been going down, and it's like I'm at a point where it's like, oh wow, it's kind of like, the Bible didn't have Bitcoin in it. It didn't have it, but the Bible also didn't have the internet in it.
Well, watch this. Watch this. Here's one thing we're told that we can expect. You will not be able to buy, sell, or trade without the mark of the beast. Now, like, what seems more ideal to help steer us towards that concept of a one world centrally controlled entity that will be a part of your body where you won't be able to do nothing unless you participate? Is that a gold coin, you think? Is that a silver coin? Or is that something that's blockchain based / computer code created by man, influenced by Satan himself for this exact time and space that we're in now? I don't know.
I'll tell you what, Mike.
Yeah.
This is my last point, though, man. I know you got to clear the lines up and everything, but I tell you what, man. The biggest point, is just looking to a lot of this stuff, is that, Bitcoin is a bet on human ingenuity. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like this. They say only the strong survive. Throughout the years, we had to get stronger, faster, smarter. And Saylor broke it down, man. If you guys, in preparation for the debate tomorrow, I know if any of you guys and your listeners don't know much about Michael Saylor,
they know.
Breed Love series. The Saylor series or Breed Love, it's like a 9-part series.
Yeah.
But the way the dude thinks, he thinks to the bottom layer of like how the humans you know what I mean, not get eaten.
Yeah.
By, you know what I mean? How do we create fire? Why do we create fire? Why the energy? Right? But I say this to say that I say the end. I used to think of the end of the world, like, Armageddon and, the Bible, the end of times. I used to think it was like over. I think it's the end of a certain thing, a certain way of living, would end. You know what I mean? I don't think that the world's going to blow up.
Yeah.
That it's going to just, be the end. I think the time's over. I think we're coming to that time. And I think to bet against human ingenuity, against the fact that we'll create something when we have no choice, on our backs against the walls, like the government, the printing and everything, the money printer, they put our backs against the walls.
Yeah.
Like Chancellor is on the brinks.
Now watch this.
Created something, man.
They our backs against the wall, but yet what keeps us from not saying, hey, protect yourself with something that can't be created and that is not dependent upon the mining rigs out in China and the approval of your government to hold it. Like, initially gold and silver was just simply something that men used that came from the earth that was not even a part of the government. The government had nothing to do with that. Now, in this whole crypto space, like just a little tweet I pulled up here, that, now we're kind of, not we, but majority of people are now waiting on permission from the government for regulation purposes so that we can then enjoy it and have adoption. Like, the world's waiting on adoption. And if the people who are waiting on adoption are the people who already hold some bags because they want to get rich. You know what I'm saying?
I already adopted him. I already adopted. So, you know what I mean? But the thing about it is this, dude. But here's the thing, Mike. If gold goes up in price, and it's the thing that kind of threw me off too. I understood this, but I didn't understand it to the magnitude now that we put it against Bitcoin. If gold goes up in price, they'll just mine more of the shit. They just, remember when you talk, I called in a time before when we talked, they had just found some gold out in I think it was Nigeria or something, or the Congo. And the people were kind of like, going, like, it's so much gold. It's more gold than we think. And they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But with 21 million, means 21 million.
Yeah.
And that's divided by infinity.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
You know what I mean?
As of now, there's always, so at the end of the day, so I'm not a Bitcoin hater, so I personally believe they all can exist. I believe in dipping and dabbing in all of it. So, if one goes up, I'm fine with that because I'm part of it. So it don't matter. It's not, I think at the end of the day, I don't think the decentralized cryptocurrency, the way that it is introduced now, will be able to withstand the forces of government. If the government that we currently have now locking us down, telling us where we can travel to, telling us what we got to put in our bodies, if they win, I don't see the decentralized cryptocurrencies being able to be something that people can rely upon. And it has a lot to do with the fact that their globalist agenda is that you'll own nothing and you'll be happy with it. If they win, that will be something that we will all be up against in 10 years from now, give or take. And I doubt people will be concerned with being able to have some Satoshis in their wallet because of the standard of life, the quality of life, and all that other stuff to be able to enjoy it. So, I ain't against it.
Mike, check this out, though. Check this out, though.
Yeah.
Right? We're in the middle of political unrest and everything, Mike. Now, let's say you had to leave Detroit right now and go back overseas. You're familiar with overseas, so you probably have a good idea of where you want to go. Mike, you couldn't take all your gold with you, man.
No doubt.
Confiscate that.
No doubt.
But if you can memorize your 21 seed, you could memorize your seed password, dude. You can go anywhere.
Oh yeah.
And you can have your money, dude.
Oh yeah.
They can't get that. So like you say, they want to have nothing. Yeah, but they can. We gonna always have our coins.
Yeah, yeah. And so I agree with you. And if push came to shove, I had to, I definitely will remember those numbers or those letters and no problem, or those words and no problem. So,
man.
I believe me, I'm not dumping the bag. I ain't putting my trust in the bag. Is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So, but hey, I appreciate you, man.
Good talk, Mike.
Be good.
Later,
Oh man, good stuff. Good stuff. Appreciate you calling, man. Let's keep it moving. Missed a couple calls with that one, but that was just a good back and forth, man. I appreciate that. Something to give you a chew on. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's low blood pressure again. I'm still not working, Mike. What's going on?
I'm good, man. I know you got something to say about your favorite coin, Bitcoin. Go ahead.
Oh my God, Michael Saylor. He's selling you a Ponzi of a Ponzi. That's genius. It's evil genius. He doesn't even sell Bitcoin. He sells you a share of maybe I have Bitcoin, maybe I don't. I tell you what, I'll sell you the share. I don't even have to buy the Bitcoin. And you're the dummy that's going to buy the damn share and thinking, come on, wake up, people.
Hey man, I knew where you was going with that one. So I take it you won't be watching the debate then, huh?
He's so damn smart. Yeah, he's smart. He's smart at ripping everyone off, and he charges premium, and he charges a fee. If you're gonna get Bitcoin, just buy Bitcoin. Why are you gonna buy MicroStrategy shares?
Yeah, I think his focus is on institutions, getting other companies such as him, giving them the framework on how to do it. And so, and if you can't do it, then you go ahead and buy some of the shares in his company. So he's very techie in nature. I don't trust him whatsoever. He has an agenda clearly, because my thing is, if he's causing too much noise. And of course, Jerome Powell said Bitcoin is not a threat to the dollar. It's a threat to the monetary system in general, globally. So he's lying there. So Michael Saylor and Jerome Powell, I wouldn't doubt if they talk behind the scenes, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy, Mike. It's like a Ponzi of a Ponzi. Come on, wake up.
Yeah.
It's so convenient, that like a Bitcoin getting 24/7 coverage. Mm-hmm. Oh, let me tell you one other thing. Did you hear what the Puerto Rican guy, what is it, Peter Schiff?
What? Give me what? What did he say?
He was talking about what do you call it? The Perth Mint has plenty of silver, and come on, Peter. He's a representative for what do you call it, for the Perth Mint,
Yeah.
Come on, I don't like it, man. I don't like that he's doing that, man. He's like another Jim Rickards, he's cool about things, and then but there's no inflation. Come on.
Hey, man. Appreciate you calling as always. Good to hear your voice again.
All right.
Be good.
Mike. Thank you. Bye.
Hello, caller. Where are you calling from? Hello?
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Joe from Reno. How you doing?
Joe from Reno. Doing good, Joe. What's up in your neck of the woods?
So what I'm thinking about, Bitcoin horrible. I'll agree with those guys on that.
Mm-hmm.
But the new central bank digital currency from China that they're talking about being gold backed. There was an article on Zero Hedge, if you caught that one.
I did not. Go ahead.
But that's kind of interesting. Like, if it's going to actually be a gold-backed currency, and if China's heading down this path of, hey, we got all the gold, we're willing to change the monetary system, we'll have a true gold-backed currency if it's redeemable, then we're talking about something really interesting here. Like, the U.S. government has not been a fair player in this industry.
Yeah.
If a government is saying, hey, we'll go with a fair playing field of a gold-backed currency, what do you think of that? Like, I want to be somewhat open-minded, not to just throw out every possible solution out there. And the thought was, eventually we'll go to gold-backed currency, and this is what China's been planning for a long, long time. And yeah, they committed some bad stuff, but so did the U.S. government.
Yeah.
And if we could get back, I'm just throwing this out. I could kind of see your face. I think there's a delay here, but this is the point we want to get to.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, have true value for value.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on that? Or are you open to thinking about, hey, maybe we will go true gold backing and China might be a solution there?
Yeah. Okay. So my opinion on that is that I think if there's talk and rumors floating on the surface right now at this current time, I think it's more so it's somebody's out there trying to create and stir up the pot a little bit, because the digital yuan is not even fully rolled out in China. And so it's still early there. And I think they think 10, 20 years ahead. So I don't think they're in a position to go that far out there by even it being an official statement that we're going to, back it with gold, because they're still accumulating. So they want every ounce they can get to the T.
No, I hear you, but maybe they're done. Maybe they've accumulated, because they're saying now publicly that they're going to import 150 tons of gold and allow that imported.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that's already there. They ain't going to say we're going to import it and allow the price. It's there, and they've got it, and now they're going to say, oh, yeah, we imported it because we are being straight with you that we weren't accumulating all this gold over the years.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, all the gold is gone from the London vault. And it went east, and it's kind of openly admitted, like they don't tell you straight out, but if you listen to different people talk, China took all that gold after the Queen did her little thing 10 years ago and said, oh, all the gold's here.
Yeah.
And they didn't own it, and it was shipped over there. Germany got its gold back, over the years.
Yeah.
Might be at the point here where China says, hey, we did it. There's no more kind of gold to buy. We accumulated what we needed to. We're the production capital of the universe here. Let's have a fair trading system based on gold.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I don't doubt gold is in the equation at some point, because every nation has been running to it because the central banks know how important it is. Every central bank that know what's coming or what's already underway, they have increased the capacity of their vaults and bought new vaults. And so it's definitely gold is in the future. Now, I think it will be in the future as far as governments using it amongst themselves to create that sense of trust in the next monetary system. Yes. But I don't think the people, like the PBOC, I know they encouraged their citizens years ago to get gold. I don't know if they're still doing it now, but yet that was just in Asia. So I don't see gold being something that we use as a part of a backed digital whatever, just because that puts the handcuffs on them to be able to run up debts and create all types of financial products that the way they have in an old system. So gold is a part of the plan, but I think it's more of a power play now to show who got the biggest vaults when it's time to call the shots for who runs the next world order type of thing. But a digitally backed currency by gold, redeemable for the people, I don't see it happening, because that's going to bring put gold back in people's pockets. Yeah,
I'd kind of be on board with it. If China does say, "Hey, we'll do it," then okay, fine. Maybe I'll go with this digital stuff, and if it's actually backed by gold, and
I wouldn't trust it.
Doubt the redeemable aspect, but if it is redeemable, then these guys are being. It's to their advantage at this point.
Yeah. Well, hey, we'll see, man. But I appreciate you calling and sharing your thoughts on that one. Thank you.
Okay.
Be good. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello?
Undisclosed location.
Undisclosed location. How you doing, my friend? What's going on with you?
Shalom, and good evening to you.
Appreciate it.
It's good to be alive.
Oh, definitely. What's new in your world?
Well, I had some ideas coming to me about crypto. Been thinking about it a lot since I really did really, really well with crypto.
Okay.
Not better than I imagined. I had a plan, and the plan came to fruition. But if you think about various things that have happened in humanity, like the communist takeover of China. There was a relief valve there. It was Taiwan.
Okay.
People who did not want to be I believe that communism is satanic in nature. It uses a lot of satanic symbolism. The hammer and the sickle looks like a lot of ancient Saturn worship symbols. Right. But there was a relief valve in that case. The people that did not want to be a part of that got to run off to Taiwan, and that was actually, I believe it was good for the communist Chinese, because anybody that had a genuine will to stand up and say it's not going to be this way is gone. Yeah. They're off in Hong Kong. They're off in Taiwan.
Yeah.
And to me, when I look at the amount of resources that are now under my control, supposedly because of my being involved in crypto for 4 years, it does not seem right and fair and just to me. I'm certainly glad that I've been blessed in this way, but I wouldn't presume to say that my input into this industry, that because of what I've done, that makes me deserve this.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
I've got a lot of money, more than the inputs that I put into this system necessarily deserve. And, and what this leads me to is an angle you might not have considered, is that crypto could be used for the greatest act of money laundering in human history here, which is right now. Yeah. You and I understand that the Federal Reserve, they don't deserve to be able to print pieces of paper that they just print and then you have to do work for.
Right.
It takes them a tiny fraction of a penny to print $60 onto paper, and then you and me are supposed to go work an hour for that.
Right.
Right.
Good
with
point.
Bitcoin and with cryptocurrency now being priced in dollars for the time being, who gets to buy the most of it? Who gets to buy the most of this new money that has the properties of gold and silver, and that it's limited, and that it keeps going up in value? It started at 0.08 of a penny Bitcoin. Now it's worth $60,000, and one day it's worth $1 million. And if you believe the prediction on The Simpsons that the Bitcoin goes to infinity money because the dollar's worthless, and who gets the most of it? The people who had the money printing machine at the outset. If they did not have Bitcoin, they did not have Bitcoin, look at what would be happening. Nobody would believe that currency. If they rolled out another currency and said, yeah, we have another currency, it's not the US dollar, but we're still going to print it, and you're still going to work for it, nobody would buy it. Everybody would say, we're not doing that. But with Bitcoin, since they can point to me, they can point to Jack, and they can point to Mike, and they say, look, Mike and Jack, they bought Bitcoin when it was $1,000, and they're multi-millionaires. And you all, every one of you had a chance. So don't cry about the fact that your Social Security check that we promised you, that you worked for, you put money in for, don't cry to us about the fact that it's gone now, because you had a chance, just like Nathan and Mike, to buy Bitcoin when it was a penny, when it was $1, when it was $10, when it was $1 million. You had a chance. And now all your Social Security is gone, and therefore it's your fault. And what do Nathan and Mike say? Nathan and Mike say, well, maybe it wasn't fair, but I'm not in the boat with them. So,
hey man, I appreciate you calling in, man, sharing that, because it gave me some thoughts there. I'm gonna chime on in a minute, man. Thanks for calling in, my man.
Hey, no problem.
Be good.
Bye.
That's very interesting. Very, very interesting angle there, because as he was talking about, for those that have been able to participate in what has been considered a generational wealth transfer, ultimately, because it's the retirees, it's the savers of fiat currencies from all nations. This is just not a dollar or Federal Reserve note issue here. If you had pesos, if you had, Zimbabwe dollars, name a currency, especially. And that's why. And so let me share my thoughts real quick. Let me rant real quick. Okay. So I was thinking about how now China is giving the thumbs up for, Bitcoin as being an investment opportunity. And then Biden comes out, or is reported to be coming out soon, with his okay and giving some regulation stuff. They're going to get the Bitcoin ETF and all the other products they're going to create to try to help those that are higher net worth individuals profit off of this without actually having to have any Bitcoin. So think about this. When the futures come out for Bitcoin and they become a primary investment for all the hedge funds, pension funds to get a part of, that's when the manipulation starts happening. And so one of the things I was thinking about is that for the G7 nations, the UKs, the Chinas, Australias, the nations that have the predominant currencies, Bitcoin is not really much of a threat overall at this current moment. It buys time for them to continue to build infrastructure for the central bank digital currencies. But Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, the digital asset space in general, it destroys the economies of the other 182 or 80 so nations out there, whether they dollar based or other national currencies. It destroys them because their currencies are already just domestic currencies that nobody utilizes except the citizens of that land. And so those countries in this current environment, because of the health scare we're all experiencing, their currencies are being destroyed. So it puts pressure on all those small reserve banks to now have to come out with stuff like India, even though it's, the rupees they've been having problems with forever, but Nigeria, Argentina, they're all coming out saying that, we need to now try to figure out how to police this. It's illegal to have it, whatever, because people are running for safety and they think safety happens to be in the Bitcoin space. And it is temporarily. But if we were to think long term, there's no way that there's going to be two existing currencies of any kind, whether it's decentralized or centralized, that will be able to stand. One of them will have to win out. And that's why I think the whole idea of this decentralized space and the blockchain revolution that's happening right now, it's all designed to distract us and buy time for central banks to try to orchestrate this thing to the T. Now, hopefully, God is always able to intervene and stuff is able to be, thwarted and plans, completely brought to shambles. But at this current moment, I want to make sure everybody understands that my stance is that, getting your weight up is the very foundation of what I think is a great investment / wealth preservation tool, because look at what's going on now. Everything around us, in a sense, is labeled as an asset, has increased in nominal price, except gold and silver, relatively speaking. And so why is that not happening? Everything should go up at once, right? Why is it deliberately gold and silver is not going up? It's because something in the system they refuse to allow it to. That's where you probably want to be. You can join the crowd going that way, or you can go with the very limited over in this side to say that weight is where you probably want to build upon, you know what I'm saying? And then everything else you do on top of that, it's all fun and games because it's wide open to the public, and blockchain analysis and all those other analysis companies, they see everything you do anyway. And so, do it wisely. But yet, once again, this is all just an interesting experience we're all having in this current paradigm we're in, and they're trying to shift it to do more of the damage they've done for prior generations, moving us forward. So, but anyway, people, I'm ranting too much and we're past our hangout time. But anyway, I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. If you've enjoyed the back and forth, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll be back at it again tomorrow, Lord willing. And other than that, people, be blessed, be safe. I will see you on the other side of this. Peace.